Welcome, everybody.
Good evening. We're glad that you're here. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, but we wanted to reassure you that if you're already logged in, you're in the right place, and we're really excited to celebrate tonight.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you were telling me you saw amazing, abundant apple trees this afternoon. You just wanted to take all those apples. I love that spirit.
Get those apples delivered to the right place where they could be used.
Yep, that's important.
Yeah.
Well, we had a great time at the free food market yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was exciting. After so many months of not being able to have the free food market running, it was really great to offer that service again to our community.
Did we have good produce?
We had some beautiful produce, and I can tell you that we ran out of strawberries pretty quickly, which was disappointing.
We had strawberries?
But we had strawberries.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is.
Wow.
And we had apples and oranges were a big hit.
Good.
Yeah, it was really great.
Any proteins?
Yeah, actually, normally we're really focused on produce during the free food market, but right now, because food sourcing has changed so much, we also had peanut butter, which is always a big hit, and rice and a few other things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Neat. How about, was it too warm or was it just right, or?
We really lucked out with the weather. It was pretty incredible. So really grateful that it was not too hot, not too cold, and people seemed comfortable and really happy to be there. And there were a few folks that hadn't connected with us in a while, and we're really excited to see our staff and volunteers.
It is really hard to beat the summer weather in Portland. You know, it can be just so nice.
It really can, yeah. I'm sensing that fall is creeping in already, and I love fall, but I'm not ready yet.
I'm not either. Leaves are starting to fall. Oh. Yep, it's coming. Welcome everybody to Lift Urban, Making Connections, a new way of making connections this evening. We're really happy that you're all here. I'm hoping that you're working through all the technical difficulties. You can hear us okay. The audio is working. You've got enough bandwidth. But we've got a really great program for everybody tonight, and we're really looking forward to it. We want to say thank you to those that have already donated, and for those that have already bought raffle tickets. There's going to be some terrific prizes. We're going to do the introductions of them in stages as we go through the program tonight. Last year we raised over $68,000. Not sure we're going to get there tonight, but we're going to hope for that. And want to remind everybody that you can donate more than once. All you have to do is just click, 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 if you're so inspired. So we're really looking forward to that. I'm Brian Fleener. I'm the president of Lift Urban, and just really love my role in Lift Urban and being able to help and volunteer and guide and move the operation forward. I've been involved with Lift Urban for 12 or 13, 14 years, something like that. I started with my family, going to the food warehouse and packing food boxes. We would go after church on Sunday, and it was a kind of a great family event, and it got our children into learning volunteerism. They were 10 and 12 at the time, and we would pack the food boxes. Then we would deliver them to the recipients, and it was just such a great way of introducing them to that. So speaking of introductions, I'd like to introduce everybody to Stephanie Barr. Stephanie Barr is our new executive director at Lift Urban. And she's been with us only 3 months, but I'll tell you, it seems like she's been here for 5 years because she has just done so much in that short amount of time. She just really has hit the ground running. We're so happy to have you on board, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you, Brian. It's really an honor to be here. And welcome everybody to Making Connections 2020, our virtual gala benefiting Lift Up here in Portland, Oregon. Also, if you want to follow us tonight, please send us messages in the chat. You can also use the hashtag #FoodBringsUsTogether and share a story of how you have created community through food. We'd love to hear from you.
We're also following CDC guidelines here tonight, and we're socially distanced, and everybody around us, you can't see them, but there's a bunch of people around here. Everybody's wearing masks, so that part's good. Yeah. So Stephanie, what was it like joining Lift Urban during a pandemic?
Well, it's a really great question. Yeah, it was, it's been a challenge, but an interesting one and a really meaningful one. I have learned so much about food insecurity in our community in these last few months. And so I actually want to start tonight by thanking the outgoing executive director, Aaron Goldwater. Aaron, the organization's grown immensely under your leadership, and I know that you did everything you could to support me and make this an easy transition. So thank you for all that you've done to help me hit the ground running and keep our programs and services going strong. To everybody who's joined us tonight, we don't need to tell you how much the world has changed. This pandemic has impacted all of us, and the need for fresh, nutritious food access has never been greater for our Portland neighbors. It's also not the only crisis we're facing as a community. The protests for Black lives are taking place in the heart of downtown Portland, right in our service area. And we understand that food justice and social justice are deeply intertwined.
Yeah. Stephanie, thank you for that inspiring message. That's true. We just can't do enough towards that. And that's something else you could chat in the chat bar. If there's something that you think that we could do more towards that, it would be great to get that input. We also want to thank everybody at home and welcome your support of the donations. Keep them coming in strong. We'd like to introduce our first raffle package. It's a cycling adventure. The cycling adventure package is worth $750 in a gift certificate to River City Bikes, generously donated by All Day I Dream About Food. River City Bikes has been serving the Portland community for over 25 years, boasting the best collection of gear in town. When you need a new bike or want to get some new gear for that next adventure, River City Bikes is bound to have everything you need. Raffle winners will be announced at the end of the event, so stay tuned to find out if you're a lucky winner.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, good
Rooting
luck.
for you.
So we want to talk a little bit about Lift Up's mission. Lift Up is really fighting food insecurities throughout downtown and northwest Portland. And we're going to have some inspiring messages later on about this, but that's really at the core of what we do, and we do it through different programs. And one program I want to talk a little bit about tonight is Preston's Pantry. Preston's Pantry is located at the Methodist Church on 18th and Jefferson, and it's been just wildly popular during this event, or during the pandemic, during the pandemic. And right after it opened, I was there just kind of helping out people as they were coming through, and a young couple came in, and from the second they came in, you could tell that they were just starving. You can tell all they were thinking about was getting food. And they came in, and I started to try and relax them and showing them how the pantry works. They could take as much food of whatever they want in there, and that's the way it is for everybody. And so as we started going through the aisles, and they were collecting the food that they thought that they could, readily eat and prepare, they started to get a little glimmer in their eye. They started to lift a little bit, and you could just see their spirits relaxing and getting more comfortable. And by the time they left there, they were smiling, and that's the same story for so many people that come into the pantry. It's an essential program that we offer, and it makes a huge difference in so many lives.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing that. And I know all of us at Lift Up, staff and volunteers, really see and understand that when the need for food isn't met, when someone is hungry, you really can't focus on anything else. It's so essential. And once that need is met, so much more becomes possible. So I really appreciate you sharing that tonight.
Yeah.
We have been able to keep our pantry stocked while our Portland community rushed out and stocked up their personal pantries during the start of this pandemic. We had to rely on community support to keep Preston's pantry stocked and full so that we could meet those needs for our neighbors. We also want to thank tonight, before we go any further, Legacy Health and OTAC for your sponsorship. I know you support Lift Up in so many ways, and so just want to say a big thank you to our sponsors tonight. So many of you may not know, Brian mentioned that our pantry is at First United Methodist Church, and that actually was a move that we made a little before I came on board. And so we do want to say thank you to First United Methodist for opening your doors and really creating a home for us and the community that we serve.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a great community you have there. Yeah.
And I remember my first visit to Preston's Pantry, which wasn't that long ago, so I should remember. And it was a wonderful experience. We had fresh rhubarb, which
Wow.
a lot of people were reticent to take at first. And then the people coming through started talking about what they can do with fresh rhubarb, and I could see people getting excited and starting to take it with them. We were able to provide strawberries for the very last people who came that day. So really feel proud of the quality of the produce and the abundance of the produce that we're providing at Preston's Pantry. We have seen a 60% increase since this pandemic began in people coming to Preston's Pantry. And a lot of the people that are coming now have never needed to rely on a food service organization before. So they're scared often, but also relieved that we're there. So I know that I take a lot of pride and comfort trusting that every person who comes to us for services is treated with dignity and respect. We know that hunger can impact anyone, and it's vitally important that our services are welcoming and comfortable and inclusive for anybody that needs us.
And there's so many people during this pandemic that it's just one paycheck away.
Absolutely.
From needing to be there.
Yeah, people shouldn't have to choose between paying their rent and having groceries. Food is so essential, and we know that food is what we need to get through the day, to stay healthy and strong. It's also how we welcome and how we celebrate. So food really does bring us together, and we'd love to hear your stories. Again, #food brings us together. Another big impact, Brian, of the pandemic has been social isolation. And we know not everybody can make it to our pantry. And so if you can't come to us, we come to you. we've adopted 27 buildings, low-income and affordable housing buildings in downtown and northwest Portland. For those buildings, we deliver food boxes to over 310 residents, providing over 2,000 meals every single month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And I also really love, and it's unique to Lift Up, the dietary specific food boxes that we provide.
Yeah.
So I know I have celiac, so I wouldn't be able to easily shop for food in a traditional food pantry and know that what I'm eating is safe and healthy for me to eat.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people that we serve have that need too. So get this, we have gluten-free boxes, low sodium, diabetic, kosher, vegan, vegetarian, soft food. Really, like, we do it all.
Yeah.
And our staff goes above and beyond to make sure that we're providing food that's healthy and nutritious, no matter what someone's needs are.
It's unbelievable that Lift Urban can customize it that way. That's great.
It really is, and it's unique. It's not something that most places are able to do. And we have 35% of the people we serve actually require that. So
Wow.
it's definitely something that's necessary.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, we're grateful to the community members who support our services in those adopted buildings because, of course, we need support to be able to do that. So we want to say thank you to our adopted building sponsors tonight. And I am going to say thank you by name because they have made a big commitment and a huge impact on our community.
Yeah.
So thank you to Crook Charitable Trust for your adoption of the 1200 building.
Yay.
Thank you, Richardson family, for adopting 333 Oaks.
Thank you.
First Presbyterian for our newest adoption of Alder House.
Great.
Legacy Health for your continued support of Gallagher Plaza.
Yeah.
OTAC for your adoption of Morrison Park.
Great place to go.
Congregation Beth Israel for your adoption of Northwest Tower.
Thank you.
Greg Goodman and his Downtown Development Group for adopting Rose Schnitzer Tower.
Thanks to the Goodman family.
To Trinity Episcopal for adopting Williams Plaza.
Thank you.
Elephants for adopting the Jeffrey. Zion Lutheran for adopting Uptown Tower. The Holtzman Foundation for adopting Hamilton West. Ruth Tenzer Feldman and family for adopting the Vibrant. St. Mary's for adopting Martha Washington. AWS Elemental for adopting the Rosalind. Gordon and Kathy Keene for your continued commitment to Gretchen Kafuri. The Zidell Foundation for supporting Gray's Landing. Joseph E. Weston Foundation for supporting Helen Swindells.
Yeah.
Juan Young Trust for adopting the Ramona Apartments. Harborton Foundation for adopting Lovejoy Station. Lise Crutcher Lewis for adopting Fairfield Apartments. ESCO for your continued commitment to Upshur Apartments. And Harsh Investment Properties for adopting Lexington Apartments, and all those who contribute to our Adopt Fund and support all of the other buildings that we serve. We thank you for your commitment to feeding our community.
Yeah, that's great, everybody. Thank you for that commitment. So we were talking a little bit about social isolation, and really, that's one of the goals, is really to create connection, and create connection through sharing food and hashtag food brings us together. Another, Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever social media platform you want to choose. But it's to create that connection. And in the Adopt a Building program, as we've been delivering food to these residents, we've been hearing stories of them actually, in these times, bringing small groups of people together and sharing the food that we've been bringing. And so, the story just keeps going and going around how food does bring us together and creates these connections and helps alleviate this social isolation. A lot of the people that we serve really can't get out very far and often, and so it's just really a wonderful way to do that. I want to talk a little bit about a story that I have of delivering food boxes and how that creates connections. Because it creates connections in many ways. As OTAC delivers food boxes, Chris will go with Manu and get food at the food warehouse, and then us volunteers will all gather in the lobby, and we start creating that connection. There's a great connection of this volunteer group that wants to help and serve our community, and we have great conversations as we walk over to the Morrison apartment. all, just kind of creating deeper connections. And then we get there and we get to meet with the resident coordinator now. Right now during COVID, we can't go past the lobby, but we have good conversations. We learn about the residents that we serve. But I do want to share stories about when we get past COVID and pre-COVID, of being able to meet with the residents. We've got arguments about who gets to take food to which resident, but we knock on the door and we hear this, "We'll be right there," and it just lights your eyes up because you just can't wait for that next connection with these residents. It's so heartwarming, and it's heartwarming for them too. We bring the food in, and they get to go through the box and find all this nutritional food that is specific for what their needs are often. And so it's just a really great way of kind of that next level of connection, maybe connections that we don't often think about. So speaking of making meals, we're proud to welcome local and renowned author and chef Jen Lewis as a new board member to Lift Urban. But she's also got a great video that we're going to show here in just a second. And it's about creating food that was made with food from our food box and from the pantry. And so you see some of the ingredients that she uses, and it's going to be interesting. And go ahead and chat during this video while it's going on and see what kind of neat comments that we have and come up with. So please take it away. Roll the video.
Hi, my name's Chef Jen Lewis, and I'm here with produce and all sorts of food from Lift Up. They wanted to see me make dinner with all of the products from one of their food boxes. Each box has products for each individual that receives the box. It's tailored to their needs and their diet. What I got is what I'm gonna use. And I'm gonna give myself maybe 5, 6, 7 things that weren't in the box, like oil, salt and pepper, a few herbs from my garden, nothing too big. So all of these things can be used in these dishes. We're gonna make a frittata, and I'm gonna use spaghetti that came from the box. I have already cooked it, and this is some zucchini right here, some zucchini and these gorgeous little red Fresno chilies. I'm going to cook them just gently over kind of medium-high heat, and I'm gonna let it go for just a minute before I add my eggs. In the frittata, I am just gonna use eggs and a little bit of milk and some salt and pepper and use that as my base. I'm gonna go with 6 eggs for the size of my pan, but you can use whatever kind of pan you have and base the eggs off that. The zucchini is cooking really well, and it looks really nice. On top of that, it's going to go some spaghetti. And then I'm just going to break my eggs with a little bit of milk, some salt. Why? Because salt makes things taste good. And some black pepper. All right, the one thing I'm gonna add is a little bit of oregano from my garden because it's gonna taste delicious. But you could use dried oregano, and most pantries have something like that in them. My eggs are mixed with the milk, just a little bit of milk. It's gonna help the texture to be a little softer than if I were just to use eggs. And the last thing that I'm going to add is this delicious goat cheese that I received in the box. And I'm just gonna take little lumps, and what I can do is when I slice the frittata, I can have a piece of fresh goat cheese in each of the pieces. All right, so that's pretty much it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick this in the oven, let all of the eggs set up, and it'll get nice and puffy and golden. So, frittata, pasta frittata, so good. This is a great meal. If you want a little salad next to it, it's gonna be a little appetizer for me. So little tiny pieces. I'll let it cool just a little bit, but you can see some of the pasta got golden, some of the cheese. It's perfect. Did you know that Lift Up provides 310 boxes every month? What's cool about that is there's so much produce in these boxes and all this food that could be made from scratch that it only helps people's health and well-being. All right, on to the main course. There's so many things in this box, and I want to use as many as I can. So I'm gonna make some meatballs because everyone likes meatballs. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish cooking these peppers. There are green, orange, red peppers, onions, garlic. It's all sitting in here, and some spicy chilies, some of these red Fresno chilies. That's cooking down slowly. I'm gonna make some meatballs, and then I'm gonna use this sauce, this beautiful sauce that was given to us, add that into the peppers, and then I'm gonna braise the meatballs in the sauce. It's gonna be so good. And toward the end, because we need some kind of starch, kind of really filling meal, I'm gonna add some potatoes I cooked whole in water. I peeled them, and we're just gonna break them into chunks, and then some chickpeas as well, so we have a little extra protein. And since it's such a dense dish, we'll be able to not eat too much, but have it for a few meals as well, which is always really nice. So this is cooking beautifully. I think that they're just about done. I'm gonna add some of this pasta sauce, and it's seasoned with some herbs, but I'm actually gonna add also a few pieces of sage from my garden. Just, you know, one of those few things I'm gonna add to the box. And stirring that nicely around. That looks pretty good. Let's see if I need another jar or not, because that would be for another meal. All right, that looks good there. I'm gonna let that cook for a while we make these meatballs, which are beautiful. So what we wanna do with the meatballs is put everything that's gonna make them delicious together. And this actually works really well for a meatloaf recipe too. So I've got 2 eggs, a pound of meat. I've got some fresh breadcrumbs. I had a loaf of bread, so I made some fresh breadcrumbs. I like 2 teaspoons of salt per pound of ground meat, and that goes for ground pork or anything like that. So I'm gonna add that in, and then some freshly ground pepper as well. My sauce is starting to bubble. It looks really good. All right, we're good there. We're gonna come back to the meatballs in a second, but as my sauce goes, there's a little magic trick I like to do. So butter is the perfect complement to tomato. And the reason being is that butter has a silky softness. It's that lactic thing, and it melts into the tomato sauce, and it makes it really nice and delicate rather than more acidic. So I'm going to, with my spoon, just mix up this meat and the eggs and the breadcrumbs and the salt and the pepper, and I'm going to make little meatballs that'll poach in the sauce. Sauce is warm and it's ready, and it's time to add some meatballs. I like to use a little scoop so they're all the same size. Not necessary, but I'm going to. And I'm just gonna place them in the sauce, and they're gonna cook until the meatballs are cooked through, then a little further till they're tender. All right, all the meatballs are in here. It looks delicious to me. And we're gonna let them cook really slowly for a little bit. It's totally done. It's ready. We're ready. It's so good. The way that I know that is the sauce is reduced a little bit, all that flavors come together, and the meatballs, they've kind of lost that like hard toughness. Like when you first cook them, they've gotten kind of soft and silky from sitting in that sauce. And they're gonna pick up some of the flavors. It's gonna be so good. So, 2 last steps to finish this. One, we're gonna add some potatoes, and we're also gonna add some of these garbanzo beans. The potatoes, I got them whole and raw, and I put them in water, and I poached them really slowly until they were really tender, and then I peeled them, and all I'm gonna do is take little pieces, or big pieces, in chunks, and sit them in the sauce, and they're gonna absorb some of the flavor from the sauce, and they're gonna get silky and delicious. So big chunks of potatoes, and then we're gonna add the beans. All right, that's looking really, really good. It's nice to be able to stir around, turn over the potatoes a little bit so both sides get coated in the sauce. I get all of the scent of those peppers that I cooked down at the beginning. Now they smell great with the tomato. If you have a big piece of crusty bread or a piece of toast, you can eat that all together, but it looks really, really good. And then if I'm eating it, what I would like is a little bit of chopped up basil, and then just a little drizzle of olive oil. And I'd say that's a pretty good meal. How great is this? During that pandemic, the volunteers are writing little notes to be put into the boxes with food, so when they're delivered, we keep a really nice sense of connection with the residents. What are we having for dessert? Rice pudding. In the box is a bag of rice. Rice can be used for so many things, but rice pudding is a fun way to have a nutritious dessert. So, in my pan, I'm going to take some of this delicious rice. I have my rice, I have some sugar, and some milk, and that's where we're gonna start. So, some sugar, whoops, some rice, and the milk. And that's gonna cook until most of the milk is absorbed. It's no longer liquidy, but it has more of a pudding texture. And that's gonna take just a little while. So I'm gonna add some cherries because cherries were in the box and that's so amazing. But I don't want the pits in them. So I take my old school peeler and I put it down right into the top, and all I do is I put it into the middle of the cherry and the pit comes out. It's amazing. So I'm gonna cut a bunch of cherries, cut them in half, and then throw them in while it's warm, and they'll just slightly cook the cherries. It's gonna be great. A little bit of cardamom. If you like cinnamon better, add cinnamon to add just a little bit of warm flavor. There's one more thing I'd like to add. Again, a little bit of the soft butter. And the soft butter is gonna melt right into the rice pudding, giving it a really creamy, creamy texture. And then the final step, have a bite. It's pretty good. Playing with food is really fun, and having a good meal is really fun. But what's really important is to make sure that everyone who needs a good meal has one. Thanks, Lift Up.
Wow, Jen, great, great recipes. That looks so wonderful. And also a great message at the end, too. It is super, super important.
And I agree with all of you chatting out there. It's totally making me hungry. And Jacob, I'm with you. I'm definitely using butter in my sauce from here on out.
Yeah. So we just saw from Jen, and now it's time to introduce our next raffle prize. It is actually a hosted dinner for 4 people, 4 guests, in Jen's backyard, and she's going to produce a wonderful, wonderful 3-course dining experience, which can be scheduled at your convenience. You know, Jen is known for her simple, sophisticated culinary style that highlights the local Pacific Northwest ingredients, and she's authored 3 books, Pasta by Hand, the Book of Greens, and the Chicken Soup Manifesto, and the winner is going to get a copy of each one of those books.
And that last one is hot off the presses, so that's exciting. We're rooting for you, all of you. Only one of you can win, though.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you've learned that Lift Up provides fresh, nutritious food to those who need it most. But how far is our reach, and what is our impact? We know you want to know, so we're going to play a round of quick fire questions. I'm going to quiz Brian and see how much he actually knows about what we do.
I'm ready.
All right, Brian. How many pounds of food did we deliver through Preston's Pantry last year?
145,462 pounds.
What? On the nose. It's like you knew what I was going to ask. That's amazing. How many people received food through all of our Lift Up services and programs last year?
11,360.
Again, he knows what he's talking about. Whew, that's a lot of people. And you know what? We didn't even track everybody when COVID first hit. So that's actually fewer people than we reached.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Right.
All right, one more question. How many food boxes did Lift Up volunteers deliver last year?
3,620.
Woo! And I'm going to do a bonus question.
Okay.
About how heavy are those boxes, Brian?
They're pretty heavy. I mean, the boxes are probably 35 pounds,
Yeah.
something like that.
40
40
plus?
pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a week's worth of fresh produce and pantry staples. It's
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got it. You are knowledgeable. You're the smartest guy I know.
Wow.
Those are really impressive numbers, but the heart of what we do is really creating community connection.
Yeah.
And I know, Brian, you've talked about it, and Jen talked about it a little bit in her video, that we really miss volunteers being able to go into the buildings and deliver those boxes door to door. And we know that
We'll
the
get
people
there
we serve
again.
misses it too.
Yeah.
We will. And we haven't given up on creating community connection.
Nope.
So we have incredible volunteers who have actually created handwritten cards and notes to put in the food boxes just to say, we're thinking of you, we haven't forgotten about you, we hope you're well. We've decorated with them tonight, they're beautiful. So I just want to say thank you to our Lift Up volunteers for making sure that we're still creating community even in these times.
You know, the volunteer force has been fantastic. Thank you, volunteers, so much. You're the backbone of our operation, really. You're the
Absolutely.
backbone of helping all these people.
Absolutely. I actually have had the opportunity to deliver food boxes in my first few months, done a little bit of everything. And the place that I went was Moosoff Manor, and the first client that I met was Lenny. And Lenny has been receiving food boxes from us, but he also, when COVID hit, wanted to make sure that the other residents in Moosoff could get their boxes too. So he stepped up to help us deliver those boxes to his neighbors. Lenny, as you can guess, is a pretty great guy. I know you're watching tonight, Lenny. And I just want to say that I know that you're a great cook because Lenny loves food as much as I do, and it was great to talk to him about it. And I know he makes the most of everything that we bring because I can, just the way that he talks about how he prepares food,
Yeah.
he's got to be an amazing cook.
Yeah.
Someday I hope to share a meal with you, Lenny. But anyway, enough of me talking about Lenny. We want you to hear directly from Lenny about the impact that Lift Up has made on his life.
About 5 years ago, I just reached a point where I just didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to see anybody. It was like I was in a ball, and it was just like closing, getting tighter and closing to where nobody could get in anymore. It was just me. Thinking that was normal, not realizing that since my dad died in 2005, I was been depressed. You know, I just go to work, come home, sit on the couch, go to work, come home, sit on the couch, eat. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm 300 pounds. You know, I've always been big. And get on the scale, and I'm like 550 pounds. So that's, you know, scared the hell out of me, really. I was just basically kind of dying, I guess. I'd lost my job, been homeless for about 6 months, and my brother took me in. It hurt really bad to walk. My knees would just kill me. I'd been kind of hiding my legs, how much pain and stuff I was in from everybody. And sister saw my legs, immediately took me to the emergency room. They ran every kind of test they possibly could on me. Ended up with arthritis, high blood pressure, a bunch of other stuff. From that, I ended up getting a doctor, got into counseling, got into Moosoff Manor for affordable housing. And through that, met Kathy, the building advocate, and that's how I got hooked up with Lyft. Ever since then, I mean, it's been a blessing. I've been receiving food boxes, using the pantry. They also offer a cooking class. I've discovered that I'm really a great cook. If I hadn't been hooked up with Lift Up, I wouldn't be eating the way I am now. There's no way asparagus comes into my life. There's no way Brussels sprouts come into my life, kale. I'm eating way healthier than I've ever have in 50 years I've been alive. let's get ready. So, what I'm cooking today, out of my lift up boxes, is stuff I normally get. I'm making rice with broccoli and chicken. So right now I'm gonna start preparing the broccoli and the chicken. We'll season that all up, cook that up good, and then we'll add the rice to finish the dish. All right. Showing just some of the things that I can make because of Lift Up. It tastes so good. Sorry. I appreciate your time doing this. I appreciate everybody at Lift Up for letting me be in their video. And right now I'm gonna finish this bowl of rice and broccoli and chicken. So I hope everybody has a good time. Thank you. In the last 5 years, my life is like total 180. Now I wake up in the morning, actually make plans to go out and do things, you know? I'm actually living life. My whole attitude has changed as far as actually wanting to get to know people now. And I'm currently looking for physical therapy that involves a pool. With the healthier eating and more exercise, I should start, hopefully, shed pounds. With swimsuit season coming, I really want to tone down a little bit. From where I come from before, I feel so blessed, I mean, I don't have a lot of things, but in my mind, I'm like one of the richest people in the world. I got a roof over my head. I got food that I can cook, make, eat. I got a chair that makes me mobile, where I'm not stuck in my room anymore. I'm unstoppable right now. At this very moment in time, I'm unstoppable, and it's only gonna get better.
Wow, Lenny, that was such a great story. Thank you so much for telling it. You're just a terrific storyteller, and I believe you're right. You are on a roll, and you are really going. But we really appreciate you spending the time to do that with us. You're a natural on camera. I wish you were here instead of me because you do a great job at that. But also thank you to the community that you create, and thank you for making meals for the other residents and your friends in your building. That's in itself a very powerful message, so thank you very much for that. Everybody, we need your support now more than ever. I mean, we really, go ahead, click on that donate button. We really appreciate everything that you can do to help this cause, to help the greater community out there that needs this food, this nutritious food. So please feel free to give often too. You can do more than once. So talking about donating, we're going to start doing a paddle raise, and we're going to do it in a virtual environment, which I'm not used to, and I'm sure everybody else isn't used to. But during this time, we're going to read off what the giving at these different levels provides, just so you kind of have a sense of what it is. But you can feel free to donate whatever you want to at any time. We're going to start at the $15,000 level, and we have one person that has donated at that level, and we'd like to thank the Crook Charitable Foundation. Your generosity is really helping keeping the Portland neighbors fed, and we thank you so much for that.
And we also want to thank Renee Holtzman for her personal gift of $12,000 to support Preston's Pantry and the people we serve there. Yeah. I am so moved by your commitment to reducing hunger in our community, and I know that you're supporting an entire month of services through Preston's Pantry, and that's going to impact hundreds and hundreds of people's lives. So thank you. Yeah,
thank you so much. So starting off then, or taking it up then with the $7,500 level, what does that give you? So the $7,500 level is adopting a full building, and in that adoption, you are getting food boxes to the residents there once a month. It's providing an emergency food closet in that apartment so that the resident coordinator can get the food to the residents at any time, 24/7. It's available. And it also provides the Supper Club, which teaches residents how to cook healthy, to use the nutritious ingredients that they're receiving from Lift Urban and create great meals.
So we want to say thank you to Ruth Tenzer Feldman and family for renewing your adoption of the Vibrant at this generous level. Thank you.
Yeah. At the $6,000 level, the $6,000 level provides Preston's Pantry to feed over 350 families with a week's worth of groceries. So it's an amazing amount. $6,000, 350 families for a week's worth of groceries. What an amazing gift.
And we want to thank Greg Goodman, Gordon and Kathy Keene, and First Presbyterian Church for adopting buildings at the $6,000 level. We can't do it without you, so thank you.
Wow, that's so awesome, yeah. Yeah, it feeds so many people. At the $5,000 level, we were talking a little bit about the emergency food closet, but a $5,000 donation will fill up that emergency food closet and deliver food boxes in an adopted building for an entire year.
A whole year of impact. That is amazing.
Yeah.
We want to say thank you to the Richardson family for supporting 333 Oaks at this level.
Woo!
Yay!
At the $3,000 level, it sponsors a Supper Club workshop. It's a 4-part cooking and nutrition series in one of Lift Up's adopted buildings. And we can't wait for these to begin back up, you know. It's going to be great to have those back going.
Yeah, we really can't wait. We're thinking of all the ways we can do it even before COVID ends, so stay tuned. And thank you.
Stephanie's got some good ideas here.
And thank you, Bruce Strati, for your generous gift at this
Thanks,
level.
Bruce.
And we also want to say thank you to Cowbag Metals for your generous contribution of $2,500.
Woo, great,
Yay!
yeah, yeah. At the $1,500 level, that provides adopted buildings emergency food closet for an entire year. So you can stock that up for an entire year for a $1,500 donation.
And Brian, I think I saw your name. Are you multitasking? Are you somehow donating during this
Well,
event?
that's funny, Stephanie. I saw your and Ben's name. Thank you guys so much for that.
That is true. We also want to say thank you to Nikki and Stuart Director for your generous contribution at this level. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So at the $1,000 level, $1,000 provides a full week of food. You know, we have to purchase more food now than ever. The shelves are bare often. It's been difficult to keep them full. It really has. And so a generous donation of $1,000 provides a full week's worth of food, and we really need those shelves stocked.
That's across all of our programs and services. That's what we're spending on just to keep our food abundant so we can keep serving our community. So a big thank you to Carol Barkley and to Susan Milstein and Barney Milstein, both, for giving at this generous level. And also we have an anonymous gift at this level. I know who you are, you know who you are. I'm thinking of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You know, with this pandemic, it's just made it all that more difficult to source food. And so your donations are so appreciated. So at the $750 level, with COVID, we need to provide personal protective gear for the pantry. And a $750 donation would protect 850 of the guests that come in to get that food.
And all of the staff and volunteers, so
That's
click away.
right. Yeah. And a $500 donation, if you were moved by Lenny's story at all, provides a month worth of delivered food boxes for an adopted building.
Wow, that is a big impact, and we want to say thank you to Carson Taylor for your gift of $550. And at the 500 level, thank you Stephanie Dries, Celia Strauss, my parents, Joe and Jane Barr, Tamara Rourke-Shoup. Thank you so much for your generous gifts.
At the $200 level, $200 provides groceries for 135 residents living in an adopted building. So that's an amazing stat. $200 food closet groceries for 135 residents.
It is. We really are making the most of your donations, and we want to say thank you for donations that have come in tonight at $250. Amy Reynolds, Brenda and Ronald Pfeiffer, Gunn Denhart, Emily York, Louise Marsh, Michelle Roseborough, and Eve and Alan Rosenfeld. Thank you. And at the $200 level, thank you Bob Fujimoto, who I know is an ongoing supporter of Lift Up, Pam and Mike Buisman, Jessica Karam, Janet Gallagher, Bob Hazen and Joanne Mulcahy, Andy Silver, Jennifer Knudsen, Ruth Scott, and that anonymous gift. Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you guys so much. Now, at the $100 level, $100 is an amazing gift. It's absolutely amazing. $100 provides 300 meals for our neighbors. So that can make a huge impact. 300 meals.
I can't
for
serve 300 people
No.
on $100 until now.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So thanks everybody for your donations. At the $50 donation level, we can source the food, prepare it, and deliver a dietary specific food box to a resident in one of our adopted buildings. So a $50 donation basically is the gap food that these residents need. And it serves a lot of meals for that resident.
It really does.
And if they share it, it goes around. So that's great. So, we welcome a donation at any level, and we want to thank everybody for all of the donations that you've given tonight. I know we're going to get to our goal. I just feel I just feel we're doing great things here. If we can get some intel on how we're doing, we'll pass it on to you.
And feel free to make a monthly donation at any level. When you click donate, you have the option to select monthly, and we welcome that support as well.
Yeah.
We do have another raffle item that we're excited to tell you about. Are we ready for that?
I think we're ready for that.
Okay, great. This is the Gorge Wine Tasting Getaway, which includes a one-night stay at the Best Western plus Hood River Inn. And if you haven't been there, that's a room that's generously donated by Best Western, and it is right on the water in the Columbia River Gorge. It has unsurpassed views.
Wow.
It also comes with a $100 gift certificate to their restaurant and a wonderful experience wine tasting at Crooked Acre Vineyards just across the river in Underwood,
I've
Washington.
heard they have great wine.
You've heard that partly from me because I love their rosé. They have a lovely dry rosé. The wine tasting experience includes a Chardonnay, a rosé, and vertical flights of Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris, and a tour of their 20-acre vineyard with just stunning views of Mount Hood. So I think it's a
Wow.
pretty exciting package.
Well, let's get down to it. Let's start finding out who our
That's
lucky winners are
true.
tonight.
It is time to announce the cycling adventure. Is this our cycling? Yep. Great. All right.
Okay.
Do you want to socially distance reach in?
I'll pull it out there.
I'm so excited.
Let's see. Wait, there's two of them here.
Oh, only one can win.
Oh, it's one long one. Okay. It is Megan Fry. Congratulations.
Megan, congratulations.
That's terrific.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And next up, we'll do fine dining with Chef Jen Lewis. I'm going to get this one. I'm going to go right down to the
Okay.
very bottom. See what happens. Oh, I'm so many people.
Wait.
Oh, this is the gorge. We'll do the gorge one then. I'm very excited about this. I've wished many people good luck. And Kelly Lashkowitz, you are the lucky
Wow.
winner. Congratulations,
Kelly. That's terrific. And now,
last but not least,
let me pull it out and you read it.
All right, very
Okay.
popular item. We're all about teamwork here at Lift Up.
You
Building
ready?
community. Bum-ba-da. Lynn Bartenstein, congratulations.
Wow, congratulations.
Oh, yay. Congratulations.
That's terrific.
Well, we're very excited for our big winners, and we also want to thank our sponsors again tonight, Legacy Health and OTAC. I know that you support Lift Up again in numerous ways, including adopting buildings, volunteering. Just really grateful for your support.
Yeah, thanks everybody so much.
And we also rely on community partners to source our food. And so even though we have a lot of amazing partners, we want to say a special thank you to Oregon Food Bank.
Yeah, thank you, Oregon Food Bank, for all you do. Why is our partnership with Oregon Food Bank so important?
Well, thanks for asking, Brian.
Yeah.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
It's so important because Oregon Food Bank is sourcing food for food organizations all across the state. But they rely on organizations like Lift Up to get that food out into the community where it's really needed most. And we're top tier partners, which means that not only are we really good at getting that food out where it's needed, but we also have shared values. And so we're really prioritizing the experience that our clients have, making sure that we're supporting their autonomy and choice as much as possible, and also that we're advocating for changes to our food system to make them more equitable, because we know that food justice and racial justice are intertwined. So thank you, Oregon Food Bank.
Wow, thank you for sharing that to not only myself, but our whole Lift Up community.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, I want to make sure that I am saying thank you to any final donors that have come in tonight. So thank you, everybody that has donated this evening. I know we have a lot of folks at the $150 level, and we won't be able to name you all, but know that a full comprehensive list of donations will be on our website, so we will definitely say thank you in every other way we can.
Thank you. Yeah.
We really couldn't do this work without you. Lift Up is truly a community organization in so many ways. And I just want to say thank you to the people that we serve. I'm excited to get to know more of you as time goes on. And to our volunteers, to our congregations,
Volunteers.
our adopters.
Yeah.
So many people fall into more than one of those categories, Brian. It's amazing. I also personally want to say thank you to the staff and board of Lift Up. You gave me a really warm introduction, and I just have to say, like, Brian and the board and the staff have all made joining this organization such a pleasure, and your sincere commitment to our mission is really important to me and really moving and inspiring, and it's just an honor to work alongside you. So
I would
thank
echo that, Stephanie. Thank you to all the board members that are out there helping. Great volunteers, and thank you guys so much for your time and efforts. I feel like we've got a terrific board. The staff is top-notch at Lift Urban. The staff members just go the extra mile every single day. We can't thank them enough for what they do. So thank you to all of you.
And thanks to everyone who was part of this tonight. Thanks for being part of our community and helping us do what we do best. Get healthy, nutritious food access to the people who need it most.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you. We hope you had fun tonight, and eat well, be healthy and safe, and have a great night.
Stay safe. Thanks, everybody.